Hi guys, welcome to section 5 of this course. This is going to be the second to last section of basic main music theory. We're going to discuss the circle of fifths in the next section, but right now we're going to be talking about intervals. And after that, in section 7 and so on, we're going to be doing some really cool stuff with chords, and I will show you how to play almost any song, any pop song basically, without even having to try it first. For now though, we're going to be talking about intervals. And this lesson is all about basic intervals. So, what is an interval? An interval is basically something to determine the distance between two notes. So let's say these two notes. An interval is actually going to say how far apart they are. Intervals work with scales as well. So let's say we have a look at the C major scale. Just like that. We are going to determine the distance of these notes from one another, okay? And intervals are basically quite easy, but you have to keep one thing in mind, and that's really important. We're going to be starting on the first note, and we're going to call that a first, okay? So instead of saying this is one note apart, we're going to say no, this is a first, because it's the first note of the scale, okay? Then the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, and the eighth. Okay? Then if you want, you can even continue on a ninth, a 10th, 11th, etc. Okay? Ninth is usually far enough. So, as I said, this is a first. If I play this, we're talking about a second, basically. A third, a fourth, a fifth. Right here is a sixth, seventh, and eighth. Okay, if you go a little bit further, ninth. And that's the basic intervals. Now, if we play something else, like for instance a G major scale right here, okay, you have to pay attention that you're not going to call the F the seventh, okay, because the F sharp is actually going to be the seventh. You understand that difference? So it's going to be first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and then the seventh is not going to be a wide key because this key isn't in the G major scale. It's going to be that one, and then right there. Okay, same goes for the F. Okay, the fourth is not going to be the B, it's going to be the B flat. So, first, second, third, fourth. If we, for instance, play an A flat major scale, right here, then obviously it's going to be a bit more tricky because of all the black and white notes going through each other, okay? But it's still going to be the same. A first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth, okay? Ninth. Right there. So there's two things you need to remember from this lesson. Okay, you have to start counting on the first note because you're basically saying this is the first note of my scale, the first note of my scale, the second note of my scale, etc. The second thing you have to keep in mind is that it's not just wide notes, it's not just the distance between notes, because it doesn't matter how many notes are in between. Okay, like here, first, second, third, fourth. Okay, if we count the half tones in between, it's 1, then 3. And now all of a sudden it's 4, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's really weird. It's one half tone in between, 3 half tones in between, 4, 6, 8. You know, that doesn't really make any sense. So that's the second important thing to remember. You have to count the first, second, third, fourth, fifth note of your scale, not necessarily on the piano. Now remember those two things, and let's continue on to lesson number 2 of this section.